Hey everyone, it's Louie and welcome back to Louie Ventures, where we talk about all things travel, credit card reward points, and personal finance. In today's video, I'll be talking about how I was able to score a great deal on a round-trip economy flight from the United States over to Europe. The video will be broken up into three primary sections. First, I'll talk about how to earn the points that I used. Second, I'll talk about how to use those points. Third and last, I'll talk about how to make those points go farther. So I'll start off with how I earned the points that I used for my redemption. And I actually used FlyingBlue, which if you're not familiar with, it's the loyalty program of Air France and KLM. And what's really cool about it is this program is partnered with American Express, Capital One, Chase, Citi, and Bilt Rewards, which all allow you to transfer credit card points earned in those programs to FlyingBlue at a 1-to-1 ratio. So take for example, let's say you get the Chase Sapphire Preferred sign-up bonus of 60,000 miles and transfer those points over to FlyingBlue. You'll then have 60,000 miles with FlyingBlue. Now something important to note here, this points transfer is non-reversible, so you'll want to make sure that you find reward availability before transferring points over, as it's a one-way street. You're not going to be able to transfer those back to Chase. So let's jump into the computer and I'll show you a few examples on how to redeem those points. So here we are on the computer, and the first thing I like to do when planning out any sort of flight redemption is I like to go to this website called Flight Connections, which lists out all of the different cities that all the airlines in the world service. So if we go up here to airlines, for this example, we'll search for Air France operated flights. And now we have our results. So you can see out of the United States, all of the different cities that Air France operates out of over to Europe. So once you've created your account and you're on Air France's website, go ahead and navigate down here to Book with Miles. And I've generally found searching for award availability to be easier when searching for one-way flights. So we'll click one way there, come over here, and let's say we want to fly from Chicago O'Hare over to Paris Charles de Gaulle. And we'll pick a random date here, say April 21st next year. We'll do one adult in economy and search flights. And here are the results. So it looks like there's pretty decent availability next April. But I do want to quickly point out that this 7-day calendar up here can sometimes be a little bit misleading, because it says that the cheapest flight is 20,000 miles on April 21st. But if we look at the only direct flight that's operated that day, it's going to cost at least 36,500 miles. And if we scroll down here to some of the connecting flights, yep, it looks like there's a few different options available at 20,000 miles. So it's definitely cheaper in the cost of miles, but you will have a connection in Amsterdam, it looks like. So something to think about when searching for award availability. If we scroll back up here, let's try searching on a different day, say April 20th. And it looks like we found a direct flight for that same 20,000 miles that we saw earlier with a connection. Only difference is this one will get us to Paris a little bit quicker and we don't have to worry about a connection. Go ahead and click on the redemption and you'll see the price here. So it'll be an economy flight, one hand baggage, one personal item, and one checked bag included for 20,000 miles and $97.40. Not a bad deal if you ask me. Now let's try searching for a flight from Europe back over to the United States. So we'll scroll up here and click on the Air France logo, take us back home. And let's say book with miles, and this time we're going to select Charles de Gaulle as the departing airport, and we will be looking for a return flight back over to Chicago. Just pick a random day again, let's say May 5th, confirm, one adult in economy. And sort of similar to what we saw earlier, looks like there's pretty decent availability in May next year, but the direct flight is going to cost you a little bit more on this day, and it looks like there's a cheaper flight available, but it does have a connection in Amsterdam. So let's try one of these other dates up here. And it looks like we do have award availability on May 6th. You'll see there's one direct flight from Paris over to Chicago, and let's click on the price here. It'll show the full fare of 20,000 miles and $183.21 in taxes and fees. And I do want to point out that generally when you're searching for flights from Europe over to the United States, the taxes and fees will be higher versus the other way around, but you really can't beat the deal you're getting here. You're essentially paying $300 or less than $300 for a round trip economy ticket over to Europe. And when you compare that to the cash price of the same exact flights that we looked at, you're looking at an out-of-pocket cost of $800.61 if you were to pay with cash versus the less than $300 that we would be paying with points and miles. You're essentially getting this flight for almost 65% off the cash price. Not too bad. Now let's talk about Seats.Aero. This is the paid tool that I mentioned earlier that can significantly speed up your search for award availability. It does have a freemium model, so there are certain search functions that are available as a free member, but the pro version definitely comes with its benefits, such as showing a full year in the future of award availability. That can definitely be helpful when planning out trips far in advance. I'll have my referral link down in the description below if you're interested in signing up and checking it out. So once you're here on the home page, you'll want to click on Explore, and you can see all the different airline reward programs that this website has the capability of searching for. But for the purposes of today's video, we'll be searching for Air France and KLM. And the first thing I'm going to do is come over here to select a full year of award availability. And then I'll change the flight destination from North America over to Europe. And in our example earlier, we were searching for flights from Chicago, so I'll type in ORD, that's the airport code, over to CDG Charles de Gaulle in Paris. And right off the bat, it looks like there's a ton of availability here, and there's a lot of filtering options we can do, filter by date. What I like to do is come over here and filter by the lowest price for whatever redemption I'm looking for. And let's go ahead and try coming over here to the search function and finding the flight that we found earlier. So here's that same flight from Chicago over to Paris next year in economy for 20,000 points. And if we click on the information button here, it'll show us the flight here, and we can actually just click straight from here and book on Air France's website. And here's the flight. If you are going to use Seats.Aero or really any other award search tool like this, I definitely recommend going over to the actual airline website and confirming that availability before you transfer any points over to that airline program. There are certain instances where it'll show sort of phantom award availability on some search tools, but that's why I always like to come over and confirm that it actually exists on the airline's website just to double check and make sure it's real. In this case, it does look like this availability is real, and I'm looking at it here on Air France's website. So if I wanted to, I would go ahead and transfer over 20,000 miles to FlyingBlue and book this flight. Let's try searching for another flight from the west coast of the United States over to Europe. Let's clear our search out here. Let's say we want to fly it from LAX over to Amsterdam. If we just click one of these random dates here, it looks like there's plenty of award availability. And let's just say we want to fly next January on the 15th. Looks like the lowest price that's available is 15,000 miles and $97. That's a pretty good deal. Let's try one more search. Let's clear out our search and let's try the East Coast. And let's search for New York over to Paris. And by the way, if you're not familiar with all of the different airport codes, Flight Connections can help out with that. If you click on each city, it'll show you the different airport codes for that city. And so if we look here, it looks like there is a ton of availability next year for flights from JFK over to Paris. So in summary, you can typically find award availability using FlyingBlue for a round-trip economy ticket from the US over to Europe for about 40,000 miles and $281 in taxes and fees. That's a pretty good deal if you ask me. Let's talk about how to make your points go farther by utilizing credit card transfer bonuses. So there's a website that I like to go to keep track of all the current point transfer bonuses, and I'll have it linked in the description below if you want to check it out. And it's on the Frequent Miler website, so once you're here, you can just scroll down and they list out all of the current as well as upcoming transfer bonuses. So you can see there's a lot of different bonuses going on right now to take advantage of. But for the one that we're looking for, let's say we have a stash of Amex membership reward points, and it looks like they're currently running a 20% transfer bonus from Amex over to Air France and KLM's FlyingBlue program. So instead of the typical 40,000 miles that you'd have to pay, you'd be looking at only using 33,000 miles with a 20% transfer bonus. And it can actually get even better. If we go back over to the Frequent Miler website and scroll down a little bit, you can see some of the expired transfer bonuses that have been run recently. So you'll see Capital One was running another 20% transfer bonus, Citi was running a 25% transfer bonus, and Built was actually running up to a 150% transfer bonus, which was a really lucrative deal to take advantage of back at the beginning of 2024. So when you stack some of these transfer bonuses, it could really be a great way to reduce the total amount of points that you're using when booking a redemption like this. But wait, there's more. FlyingBlue offers a promo rewards program where you can get up to 25% off certain flights that are operated by Air France and KLM. And these rewards are released at the beginning of every month. So I'll link this website down below and you can keep an eye on any flights that might be a great opportunity for you in the future. If we scroll down here on the website for now though, we can take a look at some of the deals you might be able to score. So here's long haul flights. We have Europe to Dallas starting from 15,000 miles in economy, and a lot of other cities in North America as well, starting from 15,000 miles in economy. So you're looking at pretty much 30,000 miles round trip, plus taxes and fees, of course, which isn't a bad deal, especially when you combine that with any ongoing credit card transfer bonuses. So let's run a couple of examples to see just how great of a deal you might be able to score. So let's say there's a 20% credit card transfer bonus to FlyingBlue, and let's also say that you're able to take advantage of the 25% off through FlyingBlue's promo rewards program. Well, when you combine those two together, you're looking at just 25,000 miles round trip from the US over to Europe, plus taxes and fees. That's a great deal if you ask me. And the last thing that I want to talk about is the low cost of adding a connecting flight when redeeming miles through FlyingBlue. So let's say that you want to fly from Seattle over to Rome, and while planning out your itinerary, you notice that there aren't any direct flights from Seattle to Italy. And so if we come over here to Seats.Aero, we can just find a random date of availability. I know this doesn't say Rome, this is flying to Paris, but we can actually go to Air France's website and add that connecting flight. And typically these connecting flights are going to be as little as a few thousand miles extra. So the price from Seattle to Paris was 20,000 miles. And if we come here to Air France's website and clear out Paris as the destination, and then we'll enter Rome, and then click search flights. You'll see that the lowest fare is actually 24,500 miles, which isn't bad when you consider that the original fare from Seattle to Paris was 20,000 miles. So you're essentially getting the connecting flight from Paris to Rome for 4,500 miles, which isn't a bad deal if your destination doesn't fly direct from your home airport. So that's how I was able to fly round trip from the US over to Europe for under $300. I hope that you found this video helpful, and hopefully you're able to use some of the methods that I showed you in the video to get out there and explore the world. As always, make sure to hit the like button, subscribe, and turn on the post notification bell so you never miss an update. Look forward to seeing you all in the next video, and take care.